Do you need more discussion? We can there. Go ahead. Yeah.
So we're back on, Mr. Chairman.
So we have to speak.
For the record, Commissioner Luizoka, I would like to try a motion here. I would move that we approve agenda item 153, docket number 24-09026 as set forth in the agenda with the following modifications to the compliance order. There would be a limit to the number of vehicles approved, 102 vehicles. Any additional vehicles would require a new application for expansion of authority. Additionally, they need to come back within 5 years for a compliance check to make sure that the substantial completion of the tunnel project has gone forward and has been made relative to their operations. So that would be my motion. Thank you.
I'll second for the purposes of discussion. I need a definition of substantial. Is that 60%? Is that 51%? Is it 68%? I need a definition of what we're going to hold them to in that 5-year time period. And I threw a number out because I thought that would be workable of, technically 20% a year. That's what that came back to. That number was 20% a year approximately, which I don't think is unreasonable, especially given the fact that, and this is the part that I was so impressed with, that the machine is capable of boring 700 feet a week. Do I remember that correctly? So I know that's not what it's boring right now. You don't have to answer that, Mr. Fairfield, but I was like, holy moly, that's just an impressive number. So I didn't think that at 700 feet a year, that's approximately, if you were to, pour the coal on that thing and start running it, of what its full capabilities are, you could easily dig a mile every, let's say, even, 3 months, which is.
The one thing I want to add here is there are many regulatory challenges to building additional miles of tunnel. So regulatory challenges, property rights, station approvals, these are all things that have to be worked through, which is why it's not a perfect linear 12 miles per year, and which is also why it's very difficult even to give we're going to have 50% of this built at year 5. What we were kind of thinking is if we can come to you within the next 5 years and demonstrate that we are kind of making our best effort to get to this place of substantial completion, but we want to continue the service on the surface, then we could have that extended beyond the 5 years. If you determine that we have not made that effort to continue to build the system, and we just are kind of, in your mind, sitting on our hands, not making progress towards building the tunnel system and relying on the surface transportation system, then that will be up to the discretion of the NTA. But from our standpoint, there's a lot that goes into building this tunnel system that's outside of the boring company's control, which is why we would move forward to try to get something that has a bit more discretion than a firm number.
Mr. Chairman? Sure. I like the language of best efforts. I think, unfortunately, a lot of things in the construction world are not certain. But as long as we can look at their operations and we're seeing that they're making their best efforts to continue with the tunnel construction project, then we can say they met that requirement. Best efforts is certainly a high standard. So I think that we could use that in terms of the substantial compliance standard. I am also very much concerned, as you are, and I don't want to have additional discussion unless you feel it's appropriate, but I'm very much also concerned about this morphing into something that it's not intended to be. I don't want this to be a replacement for any of our traditional carrier. I want this to be a new line of product that's available for the public that's engaged in being transported. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Chairman, can I add one thing? Garrett Hammock, financial analyst. If you're going to put a number to it, like a percentage basis. So we also got to agree on like the number of miles, like is it the approved miles today in 2025, or is it going to be, you know, what percentage of the approved construction miles?
And thank you, Mr. Hammack. I was going to say, and this still, and I respect, you know, substantial, and I respect best effort. Those are still qualitative, not quantitative. And that's the, and look, and I understand, I came from a municipal background. I know how much time it takes to get through permitting processes. I know that governments and municipalities work at a glacial pace. I get that. But there also needs to be some type of an expectation, which I do respect best effort, you know, to say, look, we're trying to get these permits. We're trying. And so maybe what we need to do is also have some status checks where they can come back and, you know, tell us, you know, what they're trying to achieve, what's on the horizon. And I do think that those are reasonable conditions to place. We've done that in municipal processes where we've said, look, we get that this is going to take some time. We know that it's going to require a best effort, but we want to see you in 2 years because we want to know what efforts you've put in. Not that you've just, you know, allowed wishing you can just do whatever you want to do because we gave you an approval.
Administrative Attorney Oni Wilburn, just to jump on that, I do like the language of best efforts from Mr. Soka because we, as they're doing this, we don't want to trade building quickly with safety or anything along those lines. So I think best efforts is the very best language to use here, showing that they're going to the municipalities on time. They're trying to get every permit. As soon as they get the permits, they start digging. They start doing things along those lines. I think best effort encompasses all of that to show that they're not sitting on their hands, but actually going forward, trying to get everything done in order to get these tunnels built.
And if I may, Ashley Steinberg with Paradise Transportation Company, I'll volunteer my colleague Tyler to give you a briefing on status whenever you want. He's jazzed about it. No, but I mean, but seriously, like we're more than happy to have an open and regular communication with you about what our tunnel progress is. We already do this with multiple stakeholders. So we'd love to have you come walk the tunnels, see what the progress is. We can give you the update on, you know, the phased aspect of how the permitting works. So if you want, you know, us to have a regular status check, we're totally open to that as well.
I'd like to do status checks also. I think since it sounds like we're changing a motion, let's figure out a time period, 1 year, 2 years. What I don't want to see is at the end of a 5-year project, we find out that it's a failed project and nobody updated us. So let's.
I would propose that we have status checks every 6 months and come back to the general session at least every couple of years to hear a progress report from the applicant itself.
I would agree on a 6-month status check. That's just you know, hey, look, here's what we're doing. Here's how many permits that we've applied for. And then you know, every couple of years or you know, something of that nature. I think that's a reasonable thing to place on them. An expectation. There's an expectation that you fulfill what you've promised that you're going to do. And you know, again, the difficult part for these carriers is, and every single one of them have said, hey, look, if you're inside the tunnels, we get it. We realize that that's not in the NTA's regulatory purview. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. That's not within the NTA's purview. That's something that's completely different. But now we're sort of dealing with with a different breed of dog. Go ahead.
Mr. Chairman, let me try to restyle this motion based on the discussion we just had to see if this has any takers. So I move to approve agenda item 153, docket number 24-09026, as stated on the agenda, and with the following further modifications to the current draft compliance order. The applicant is limited to 102 vehicles. They have to do a status check with NTA staff every 6 months, and every 2 years would come before the full authority to discuss the status of their building process. This approval is good for 5 years and subject to revocation in the event that best substantial compliance and best efforts have not been made to complete the tunneling project. And I believe that covers everything. Did I miss anything, Mr. Chairman?
Can I add something? Go ahead.
I am amending my earlier motion. Thank you.
So if you're going to add something, because I seconded. Okay. So no. I seconded the motion. If you're going to further amend his motion, if there are emendations that you want to add to that before the seconder agrees, I want to hear those.
So I would also like to add that at the end of the 5 years, the CPCN does not just disappear. It has to come before the authority again, before obviously we would take some action. And then I'd also like something in there about, it was discussed 4 miles radius to a tunnel. I'd also like some language as to distance of how far above ground these vehicles are going to travel before we end up in a tunnel. Correct, a maximum distance above ground before we get into a tunnel.
So if I may, so you want a maximum vehicle miles traveled, VMT, associated with surface streets.
Correct.
Okay, so now we've got another amendment to make.
I think
4 miles.
I will second Commissioner Teddy's amendments in that motion. It's accepting as a friendly amendment. Yep.
You're accepting his
Yes.
amendments. Okay, seconder agrees. Okay, so we have a motion. For clarity, I think we probably need to read that motion back some. And I'm not trying to take over, Mr. Chairman.
No, let's make sure we have it on the record clearly what we're doing.
Okay, go ahead.
Go ahead.
What do we need? So just for clarity purposes, Administrative Attorney Yonit Wilburn, the motion with the friendly amendments, the adoptions, all of those lines, this is what the motion is to look like. A motion to approve item number 153, docket 24-09026, the application of Paradise Transportation, removing the language from the compliant order of an unlimited fleet, restricting the fleet to 102 vehicles, understanding if they want to add vehicles, they need to come back before the authority for an order of expansion or an application of expansion. This CPCN will have a 5-year life, not to end at 5 years, however, and that is on the authority to make sure it gets put back on that 5-year mark. With status checks every 6 months, just to an applications manager, a compliance, the chief compliance, showing the best efforts are being made in order to complete these tunnels. And there is a 2-year check as well on the agenda.
6 months.
Your check to the authority.
2 years.
A 2-year check to the full authority. And does that mean it needs to come back to a general session
Yes.
as what? A status check?
Yes.
Okay, and that is also on the authority to put that on our agenda. If we're requiring the status check, it is our job to remember to put it on the authority, is not on the applicant to do that. So the 5-year as well as the 2-year is on the authority itself to bring it back. And the status check is on the applicant to check in with us, the 6-month status checks.
With
So
a,
someone needs to make that motion. I just wanted to clarify what it is.
well,
And you're friendly.
As well as the 4-mile
VMT service.
surface traveling to get to a tunnel.
All of mine was just clarification points. Someone on the commission now needs to make the motion as stated.
I move to make the motion as summarized by our staff attorney relative to docket number 150. I'm sorry, relative to agenda item number 153, docket number 24-09026.
So again, I didn't hear the 4-mile maximum VMT. It was in there? Okay, all right. I just wanted to make sure that that's part of that order. Seconder agrees.
Okay, so I guess we can go ahead. All those in favor?
Aye.
Signify by saying aye. Aye. Thank you. Motion passes. And I'll pass the gavel back to the chair.
Okay.
Thank you. No,
We
appreciate it.
we need to get back to work here. All right, that takes us now to item number 158. That's docket number 2208001, the request for Cherry Project LLC. Is there any questions from the commissioners on this?
None.
Okay.
None
Looking
for
for,
me.
looking for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, motion to approve, agenda item 158, docket number 22-08001 as stated on the agenda.
As stated with the associated staff report.
Correct.
Do I have a second?
Yeah, I'll second that motion.
Have a motion by Zoka, second by Teddy. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion
Aye.
carries unanimously. That takes us to applications for certificates of public convenience and necessity to provide tow car services. Those are applications 160 through 179. We are stylized for block. However, I believe that there's a notice on item 163. So I'd like to remove 163 and 164. Is that correct, Mr. Hammack?
Yes, that's correct.
So I need a motion for items 160, 161, 162, 165, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 171, 172, 73, 74, 75, 76, 77, 78, 79 for approval.
So moved, Chair.
A motion by Commissioner Teddy. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Commissioner Zoka. Is there any public comment on any of these items? Seeing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. That takes us back to item number 163, docket number 2412017.
Mr. Chairman. This is Louis Zoka, Commissioner. I need to recuse myself from this particular matter. The respondent's representative corresponded with me and therefore I will need to recuse. Thank you.
Mr. Hammack, what can you tell us about item number 163? Are there concerns that we need to, because it was tabled from July 18th?
Garrett Hammack, financial analyst for the record. Yes, there was a 10% silent partner that wouldn't get fingerprinted on this docket. And that's the only note I have on that. So you just need to be aware of that.
Mr. Teddy, I'm just going to tell you right now, and it's just the two of us. I'm not willing to support that.
Neither am I, Chair.
Looking for a motion.
I'll make a motion to deny item number 163.
Yeah.
We can.
Do we have an applicant from Exotic Luxury? Is there anyone from Exotic Luxury? We're on item number 163. Is anyone raising their hand?
There's no one raising their hand online.
Okay, going once. Going twice. Okay, all right. I'll entertain that motion again.
Thank you. I'll bring my motion to deny item number 163, docket number 24-12017.
Okay, for lack of compliance with fingerprinting requirements.
Absolutely.
Okay, I'll second that motion. Let me just make sure. Is there any public comment on item number 163? Seeing none. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries unanimously. That takes us to item number 164, docket number 24-12022, the application for sovereign entities. I know that there are also some issues with this. Mr. Hammack, would you articulate those issues?
Financial analyst Gary Hammack for the record. The note I have here is citation history. So, and it said that you were possibly reviewing.
That's right. Yeah, we have a bunch of citations on this. I'm not willing to support that either. Mr. Zoko.
Mr. Chairman, motion to deny agenda item 164, docket number 24-12022.
Based on citation history?
Based on citation history, correct.
Thank you for that clarification. Do I have a second?
I'm opposed to that.
You're opposed to,
I would support that. It's my understanding that the applicant actually had citations when he was a non-consent carrier, and this is requesting consent authority.
Okay,
Sorry.
okay, go ahead.
And this is, he's requesting consent authority, which obviously is a different type of tow service. So I would be supportive because it's more of a part, the owner is a party to the tow.
What would you like to see on this? How would you like to deal with this? Give me a motion.
I would move to approve.
Mr. Zoka, what are your feelings on that? You made the motion in the last one.
I am not going to second.
Okay. And so this is, you're suggesting, Mr. Teddy, that this is because it's consent, that you're willing to allow them to move forward even though they've got a history.
That's correct, Chair.
All right, you know what? I'm going to support you. I'll second that motion. We have a motion by Teddy, second by Hartung. It was not a second. It was not a second. The motion died for lack of a second.
That's right.
There was no second. No. Commissioner Teddy didn't second it, nor did I. Is there any public comment on item number 164? Anyone online? That's application for sovereign entities doing business as Aquarius Towing. Okay, I'm going to close public comment, bring it back to the board. We have a motion by Teddy, second by Hartung. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Nay. And so we have motion carries 2-1 with Mr. Zoka being in the negative. That takes us now, commissioners, to where am I? 180. Thank you so much. And I believe we can block items 180 through 183. Commissioners, are there any questions on any of those items? That's 180, 181, 182, 183.
Not for me, Mr. Chairman.
Not for me, Chair.
Okay. Is there any public comment on any of those items, 180 through 183? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board, looking for a motion on block.
So moved, Chair.
I have a motion by Commissioner Teddy. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a second by Commissioner Zoka. We have asked for public comment. None was brought forward. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Okay, then that takes us, these are a little more difficult. We can do this in block. So I'll entertain, there's some questions that I think we have on 184, at least I have some questions with respect to that. But commissioners, do I have a motion of a proposed block?
Sorry. We also wanted to bring something up on 187 if we could.
So 184 and 187. So do I have a motion for 185, 186, 188, 189?
Moving for approval, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second, Chair.
Okay, I have a motion for 185, 186, 188,
Maybe.
and 189. Thank you. I had it circled correctly. Do I have any public comment on any of those items? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. That takes us back to item number 184, docket number 2505031. Mr. Hammack?
Yes, on this one, it looks like there's a range of rate issues in rule number 100. They were approved for the interim tariff without the discounts and the dynamic surge pricing. And so we just wanted to have that rule be approved. I can read it for you if you want, or I can hand it over for you guys to take.
Oh, would you just put it on the record for us, please?
Yeah. Rule 100 states additional discounts and dynamic surge prices applicable to all tours. Military discount of 10%, senior citizen discount of 10%, which we're okay with. The third party online, what we don't agree with is the Big Bus Tours parent website 20% discount, or with 30-day promotions code 30%. And then there is the third party online OTAs price parity to Big Bus parent website up to 20%. Oh, that's the same wording. Sorry. My apologies. So yeah, that'd be it. We don't agree with the Big Bus Tours parent website up to 20% discount or dynamic surge price, or with 30-day promotions up to 30%. That is what we're not supporting.
Ms. Rushton, I believe you are here to represent this. Otherwise, you're just enlightening us with your presence, which is always welcome.
Thank you.
All
For the record, Kimberly Maxton Rushton with the law firm Cooper Levinson, appearing on behalf of Big Bus Tours. Joining me today is the general manager, Mr. Jacob Wadeen. Just for quick clarification, this does pertain specifically to Rule 100. The other tariff modification requests were approved pursuant to an interim order, and it's my understanding that staff has no objection. As it applies to Rule 100, the clarification is the fact that that third point where it says third-party online OTAs, that's already approved. I have an effective date of February 2024 for that language. What's the new language is the one dealing with dynamic pricing.
My apologies. She is correct. There's the line with the third party online OTAs price parity to Big Bus parent website up to 20% or 30-day promotions code up to 30%. We are in support of, and that did get approved. What we aren't in support of is the Big Bus Tours parent website up to 20% discount or dynamic surge price, or with 30-day promotions up to 30%.
Right. So those are the issues. And in fact, I remember talking with Ms. Babcock about the dynamic side of this. That's, well, I know it's used in other places. That becomes a little difficult because there's no real gauge and tariff that has been established.
What I'd like to do is turn it over to my client just to give you a background as to why they want to utilize this in their tariff and how they use it in other jurisdictions and how the passenger is made aware of this at the time, or what the dynamic price is at the time that they purchase the ticket. So thereby giving them the full decision-making authority to whether or not to buy the ticket and take the tour or not to. So again, it's a lot like the tariff or the dynamic pricing that's done by the TNCs, whereby the customer gets the information up front and has the authority or the ability to decide whether or not they want to do it. And I think what Jacob will tell you is that this is a very common practice in the tourism industry. Recently, you've heard reports about this occurring within on the resort corridor with respect to hotels and casinos, last minute dynamic pricing, adding additional fees. That's not what this is. What they're looking to do is exactly what the TNCs do. It's based on an algorithm in which, as they get closer to the time of the tour and people are starting to buy those last minute tickets, it allows them to elevate the price. I mean, that's clearly it. So you can't go below the approved price, but through the dynamic pricing, they can go up by the 20%. And it may be a wording issue, members of the authority, with respect to what that means. But in essence, what they want to be able to do is impose the dynamic pricing not to exceed 20% of their tariff rate and be allowed that flexibility. And again, there may be additional parameters we need to work on with you guys. And what I mean is that when does it trigger? How is it triggered? Things such as that. We could certainly work through those things. But I think what was the most important was to present to you today the fact that in this tourism-based industry, people are starting to use dynamic pricing because it works. The airlines use it, the hotels use it, and now I would say most of the tour companies around the country are starting to use it. So that was the basis for bringing this before you. I know it's been an otherwise very long day, but we were really hoping to have a dialogue and just kind of, again, get your position on this, what your thoughts are. Let Jacob give you a little bit of color and background behind it, and then see if we could continue to work through this as a possible adjustment to their tariff.
Okay, go ahead, sir. The floor is yours.
All right. For the record, my name is Jacob Wadeen, spelled W-I-D-E-E-N, from Big Bus Tours. As Kimberly mentioned, it's really just us jumping on the bandwagon of more traditional travel services that go through these dynamic pricing structures. We see them when we book airlines and we look at the calendar and we see that Monday through Wednesday is a bit lower than Friday and Saturday because by nature, more people are traveling on the weekend. We see it in hotels that are getting booked early versus getting booked last minute. It's just us kind of trying to catch up. To give an example, we've noticed with the change in pattern of traveler losing out on those international travelers that our midweek travelers have died. So we are trying to now open up this calendar so that those domestic travelers see a much better price midweek to fill our buses, where on the weekends we can focus more on that extra dollar or two to give it more of an average ticket price jump. So ultimately we can make a little more money for the business. Some of the team members that work on bonuses can then receive those bonuses. So it is just trying to circle out the overall method of how we acquire the guests. Another example would be in the summer. Naturally, going on an open top bus in the summer isn't ideal often, but if they see there's a nice quality discount in the summer midweek, okay, now maybe it's something they can do. So we want to chase the trends the best we can, and give the traveler, when they're being savvy and trying to chase price early, they can see it again on a calendar-based pricing. And then on the day of, let's say we have certain tours that only have one bus that goes out, maybe 48 passengers. By 6 p.m., maybe there's only 32 passengers left and it jumps by $1. And then by 8 p.m., there's only 6 seats left and it jumps by another $1. Again, just to maximize opportunities to create profits in a time where there's a little less profits going around.
Commissioners, hold on, Mr. Hammack, go ahead.
Garrett Hammack, financial analyst for the record. I didn't actually work on this personally, full disclosure, but if I know my boss pretty well, she doesn't like the vague nature, I'm guessing, of the dynamic surge price, would like a little bit more definition or terms. That's what I'm assuming. So.
Yeah, and I do have a little concern with creating a new scenario where we haven't gone through the process to say, look, we're going to look at these kinds of pricing models. And so that's where the fear lies for me. I'm not saying no permanently, but I do have some concerns with how this could affect future applications. Commissioners?
Yeah, for me, I'm okay with the discount. I do have concerns with just a blanket surge. I would like to have much more discussion on what the parameters are, as Kimberly had stated. I think that's where we need work.
Sorry, Garrett Hammack, financial analyst. Liz is available now to speak if you'd like to address her directly. She's available online.
Ms. Babcock?
Hello. Hopefully you can hear me.
Yes, welcome. We're glad to hear your shining voice. And hopefully you're not without a cocktail in your hand. Oh no, we can't do that yet.
No, can't do that.
Can't do that.
But as Garrett said, we don't have enough information. So I would suggest they already have interim authority on all of the rest of it. It's just this particular item. So if we just leave this open, we can come back to it again with more information.
Table it?
Yes,
Okay.
that would be my suggestion.
I don't think we need a motion for that. I just think we can not act on it, correct?
To next agenda.
And
You
Chairman,
want to make a motion?
Yes, if I
Make it
might.
cleaner? Go ahead.
Chairman, before you do that, can Mr. Wadeen ask a quick question? Because what we'd like to do is, and this is really what we had hoped for, is that we would bring it to you, hear your concerns, thoughts, suggestions and everything, and then take it back and then massage a little bit more. And that was, I think, really consistent with what we had asked Liz to allow us to have you consider this today. But I think you wanted to just make one quick comment.
Sure, go ahead, sir.
Record thing again? Just do it twice? Record Jacob
You
Woodine.
just identify yourself. Just say your name for the record.
Jacob Woodine, Big Bus Tours. On the next meeting, in the meantime, we can put together more of an exact nature and maybe forget about the word surge. Sometimes it's a little bit bothersome for some folks. We call it flex pricing, and then take the daytime tour with the hop on, hop off service and says, when daytime tour services are X, pricing goes to X, and we can make it a much more specific number-driven atmosphere. When volume exceeds 80% capacity, the price jumps $1. When volume exceeds 90% capacity, price jumps $2. And then of course at 100, it's over. But on the next set of documents, we can make it much more clear. So there's no question and no vague terms.
And I think that's what we're looking for, sir, is some clarity in this, because what we'll end up doing is creating a new model that other carriers are going to come in and go, I like this and we want the same thing. So I think some base standards are important for us.
That transparency for the public also. At what point are they going to be charged this surge, this dynamic type of pricing?
For a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move that we table agenda item 184, docket number 25-05031 till our next general session.
Second that?
Okay, so I have a motion and a second, but I do under discussion. Is the next general session enough time for you to prepare those documents for us to come back? Okay. Is there any public comment on number 184, docket number 25-05031? Seeing none, all those in favor, please signal.
Yeah, not tomorrow's agenda.
No. The next regular general session that's not already agendized. Yeah, no, that's already agendized. Yeah, that's already agendized. I guarantee you it's not going to be on tomorrow's agenda.
Just for clarity.
All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Carries unanimously. That takes us now to item number 187, docket number 25-08017, Bell Chauffeured Services. Do we have anybody here that represents? Oh, you're here. When did you show up, Miss? I did not see you come in.
I just slipped in.
Thank you so much. All right, Mr. Hammock, are our questions on this item, if you would, please? Give us some staff's position.
Financial analyst Garrett Hammock for the record. This is a tariff that I did work on. Again, interim authority has been approved on the entire tariff except for one rule, rule number 65, control assistant fee. We are not in support, and I'll read it first and then I'll tell you why. The control assistant fee is a fee of 12%, which will be applied to all charter limousine or charter bus service where additional work is required to provide the expected service by a client or needed by the volume of passengers. And then there's an asterisk. Control assistance is defined as additional staff members responsible for overseeing the workflow to include on-site coordinators, extra dispatch, the accounting staff for billing. This will be provided to our clientele to assist with meeting high-end luxury expectations. This isn't one that we don't mind the rule itself. We just, again, feel it's a little vague. From my understanding, with talking to Ms. Rushton, it is a rule that they want for specific, very few specific customers they have and situations. So we feel like it could be defined a little bit more, and we wanted to have a discussion with the commission.
Okay, so Ms. Rushton, I'm going to give you the floor and try to make a determination here, but I feel like we're leaning towards tabling this item for a future agenda until staff can get more information and identify the inconsistencies. So, but go ahead, please.
Thank you. For the record, Kimberly Maxon Rushton with the law firm Cooper Levinson, appearing on behalf of Bell Trans. Consistent with the financial analyst overview, this was an application that had multiple requests to modify the tariff. Those have been approved for interim authority. I do not believe that there's any objection to them. The one matter that is new and I believe is the subject of the discussion is, as he indicated, Rule 90. And specifically, this is an amendment to what used to be identified as the controlled assistance fee. Oh,
Rule 60.
Sorry, we did have a edit back and forth. So originally it was Rule 65. On the second edit, they did change it to Rule 90. So she is correct. On the second version, it is Rule 90.
Yeah.
Same rule as, I believe, as written.
yes.
Yeah, so it is, sorry, Rule 90 on the second version.
I had on my notes also 65, Commissioner, so thank you. Thank you.
So to briefly summarize, if it's acceptable, currently many of your limousine carriers have in their tariff authority to charge a 4% or a $4 controlled assistance fee. And when that was originally presented to the NTA, the objective is that when there are big events, such as something at the Stratosphere, at the MGM Grand, in which a customer wants the limousine driver to park the car, come out and meet them and basically escort them to the vehicle. That was the original basis for the controlled assistance fee. And again, I believe it was $4, not 4%. I apologize. This is different from this. Bell Trans often does work for big groups. And one example that I provided to staff was they provide transportation to the NC2A during basketball tournaments, football games, things such as that, in which you have the NC2A as the chartering group, but they're chartering for transportation for multiple colleges or universities that are being picked up or housed at different hotels, and then going to either Thomas and Mack, the Ultra Michelob Arena, Allegiant, wherever the event is or the sporting event. Because of the fact that that involves so many different aspects under that one charter to provide the transportation service, multiple buses, multiple drivers, sometimes different shifts during the charter, and then multiple pickups at different hotels, all to go to one central place for an event. And so because that involves so much coordination, Bell Trans was looking to add a 12% increase to that in order to cover all of their additional expenses specific to, again, being able to service that charter. I understand very clearly what staff's concerns are. You have the 12%, it's written the way that it is, and what's to say that prom couple isn't going to come in and say, I would like a vehicle for 3 hours on a Saturday night. It happens to be a peak night. And the next thing you know, they're getting a 12% increase in everything because it's an assistance fee. So what we would like to propose is, again, wanted to submit this for your consideration, seek any feedback or suggestions you have, but I certainly understand what staff's concerns are. Want to narrow this so that it applies to those big groups, in which you have a lot of substantial coordination going on. And so, again, this is primarily for charters in which it involves multiple days, multiple vehicles, lots of drivers, and coordination. And so if that is a concept that is one that the NTA would be amenable to, that you believe that there is some value to it, we can then, and on behalf of Bell Trans, really write this narrowly so that it only applies to those big charter groups. But that was conceptually what the idea is.
Okay, so you're suggesting bringing us back that amended language.
Yes, sir. What I was hoping to do is to, again, get some input from the commission using this opportunity to, and that's what Garrett and Liz and I specifically talked about, is that this is something that staff has a concern about, but they certainly understand why it would be beneficial to a company like Bell in this situation. But how do we write the language so it's not applicable to that, again, that 1 hour charter and everything? It's specific to the big groups. So that's what I was looking for, again, your thoughts and input on, and we'll certainly continue to work with staff.
May I? Ms. Rushton, so one of my concerns with that, and I have no issues with adding extra personnel. I've been out there almost 20 years and I've been on ground, and I know what it takes to move large groups of people. My issue with it is that the carrier reduces rates based on how many hours specific companies book with them. And Rule 65 allows for accounting staff or fiscal staff, so they can charge for that accounting. My worry is that, this one particular company does hundreds of hours of business, and now we're going to charge them 12 additional % based on the fiscal aspect of accounting all those hours.
Back in staffing.
Correct.
That wasn't one of our additional concerns. It was a minor concern, was the language for accounting staff and billing. I can understand on-site coordinators, extra dispatch. That makes sense. I don't see how even a large group requires more accounting staff or billing.
And that's where my concerns are with it. Otherwise, I would be pretty supportive of it. Obviously with further clarification, but.
Yes, sir. And to your position, Commissioner Teddy, what I recommend is that, again, we more narrowly tailor the language to ensure that it's only applicable to those big groups. I think it's easy to give the example relative to the NC2A tournament because of the fact that that's all something we're familiar with. But what I think staff's concerns are, and the whole premise of having the tariff is to ensure that the passenger knows what the rate is and that there's no chance to undercut them or to oversell and upcharge. So recognizing that those are the concerns, again, Commissioner Teddy, I think it's easy to modify the language about the accounting and billing. It's really the coordination of the extra vehicles, the driving, being on site to coordinate those things. So with your permission, we'll take it back, revise that, and then present it to staff.
Okay, so let's do this before, is there anyone wishing to make public comment on item 187, docket number 2508017? Online? Okay, seeing none, looking for a motion.
Mr.
Table this item.
Mr. Chairman, move to table agenda item 187, docket 25-08017 to our next regularly scheduled agenda.
I'll second that.
Motion by Zoka, second by Teddy. We have asked for public comment. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you for your consideration.
Thank you.
Good to see you, Liz.
Good seeing you.
Okay, so now that takes us, commissioners, to request for contemporary, I can do this, request for, not contemporary, temporary discontinuances, items number 190 through 203. Commissioners, are there any questions for staff on any of those items?
I have none, Chair.
None for me, Chair.
Thank you so much. Do we have any public comment on items number, and I'll just do this because we had a complaint earlier, 190, 191, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, 200, 201, 202, 203. Is there any public comment on any of those items? Seeing none, looking for a motion on a block for 190 through 203.
So move, Mr. Chairman.
I'll second.
Have a motion by Zoka, second by Teddy. We have asked for public comment. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Gentlemen, that takes us now to request to extend temporary discontinuances, items number 204 through 210. Are there any questions for staff?
None for me.
None by me, Chair.
Do we have any public comment on items?
206. We okay?
I have 206 as
206 was that email
being okay.
from the carrier.
They only needed to, 206 only needed comment.
Okay. So we're, yeah. Okay. Thank you. I just want to make sure.
That's okay. All right, so looking for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I move to approve agenda item 204 through 210 as stated on the agenda.
I'll second.
Motion by Zoka, second by Teddy. Again, is there any public comment on any of those items? 204 through 210. Seeing none, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. That takes us now to docket number 25-04026. That's item 211, a name change. Any questions, commissioners?
None by me, Chair.
None by me.
Okay, I know that this was fairly pedestrian. Is there any public comment on item number 211? Seeing none, I'll bring it back to the board, looking for a motion for 211.
Mr. Chairman, I would move that we approve agenda item 211, docket number 25-04026.
I'll second.
A motion by Zoka, second by Teddy. We have asked for public comment. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. That takes us now to exemption requests. We have,
I think we're 212 still.
oh, we did, my beg your pardon. I thought I didn't
Yeah,
mark it.
we're-
Yep, no. Thank you so much. I'm trying. I don't have a lot of room.
Sorry. You're very comfortable.
Yeah, that's where we're at.
Item number 212, the request for Host Transportation LLC doing business as Global Limousine Services. That's docket number 25-07006, item number 212. Commissioners, any questions for staff on that logo change?
None by me, Chair.
None for me.
Do we have any public comment on item number 212? Seeing none, looking for a motion.
So moved.
Second.
I have a motion by Teddy, second by Zoka. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. That takes us to our final actual item, other than our final public comment, which is item number 213, docket number 24-11019, Las Vegas Skydiving Adventures. Is he here with us? Is he online? Okay. Mr. Hammond, can you fill us in on this?
Sorry, Garrett Hammock, financial analyst. Yeah,
Check your pulse, Mr. Hammock.
I'm going to fall asleep here. So, yeah, the applicant does not want his vehicle in the company name. His insurance and vehicle is registered to him and wife as a business in parentheses. And Liz may need to talk a little bit more on this one.
Ms. Babcock, are you still with us?
Yes, sir, I am.
Would you answer the questions on this and fill us in and just provide us some information?
Yes, this gentleman was on an earlier agenda. He's got skydiving business and he's applied for free shuttle transportation. At the time, he had vehicles that were not quite ready or what have you. He does not drive to his direct office. He takes them to a jumping location. That's why it was before you for a vote. He was voted and approved as exempt from us. However, he did not register his vehicles in his company name. At the time, he also told me he had an affiliated company. I believe it was the school for the skydiving. So then he was going to put him in that name, which would work because that is, an affiliated company is acceptable. But then he didn't do that, wanted to keep him in his personal name, which I told him was not good because it's required to be in the company name or that of an affiliate. And so then he had his insurance company designate them as a business and wanted to use that. At that point, I don't know, that's above my level. So I put it back on this agenda for the authority to decide if that still qualifies.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, may I?
Yes, please.
Thank you. So this can be a question to our legal This can be a question to our legal counsel. This comes down to a definition of an affiliate in the statute. And essentially what this boils down to, this is a free shuttle service. The individual would be conducting the free rides for their customers through their entity, but the vehicles are titled in the owner's name. I believe this qualifies within the definition of an affiliate, especially given the free transportation involved here. And I would need your opinion on that as well.
I actually have had Administrative Attorney Yoni Wilburn. I actually have had extensive conversation with Liz on this. I believe it does qualify under affiliate. I don't have an issue with this at all. He is using it for his business. I believe it's in his name more so for insurance purposes, things like that, not to subvert or come under our control or try and do anything nefarious. I think it's more something along those lines. So I actually don't have an issue with it, and I think it fits it within the framework.
Thank you so much, Ms. Wilburn. I would also know that as a policy matter, I think what we'd be concerned about is somebody's trying to shield themselves from the consequences of an accident by transferring to a third party. Here, this gentleman owns his own company. There's no such shielding here, so I think it's perfectly fine. So I would move to approve agenda item 213, docket number 24-11019.
Have a second?
I'll second.
We have a motion by Zoka, second by Teddy. Is there any public comment on item number 213? Seeing none. And just for point of reference, I completely understand an owner operator. I mean, I was a small business for years and it's easy to cross that line and you have a lot of things that are in the business name and then not in the business name. So I have no issue with it. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. That takes us now, no, that's okay. That's all good. This is where we are today. That takes us to item number 214, our final public comment. Do we have anyone wishing to speak under final public comment? Anyone online? Mr. King?
We have no hands raised online.
Okay, I'm going to close final public comment. I'm going to bring it back to the board. This is my favorite motion of the day. I'm looking for a motion to adjourn.
So move, Chair.
Second.
All right,
I'll take the first.
there we go. All right, have a motion by Teddy, second by Zoka. We are, as all those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We did.